Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. So this is our lecture number 10 and we are studying the chapter number 7 and this is second phase of our chapter number 7. In first lecture or first part of our chapter number 7 we discussed few things. Let's have a reminder of that. First of all, we discussed the difference between the flow of funds statement and the statement of cash flows and understand the benefits of using each. And then we defined funds and identify sources and uses of funds. And then we discussed how to create a sources and uses of fund statement and make adjustments and analyze the final results. So जब हमने sources and uses of fund statement prepare की थी तो इसके अंदर हमने एक adjustment को भी introduce किया था. Adjustment were actually they were hidden in our first part, but later on when we adjusted for those adjustments we just highlighted few figures like how much there was an increment in the fixed assets and how much was the depreciation and how about the retained earnings. So we introduced these adjustments to get the another version of sources and uses of fund statement. And then we described the purpose and content of the statement of cash flows as well as implications that can be drawn from it. And then we studied the direct and indirect methods of statement of cash flows and how they are different from each other. Results are same. In both cases we find out cash flows, either inflows or outflows out of different activities, for example operating activities and then investing activities and financing activities. So this was all about our previous lecture, and now let's have a look at our today's lecture. It is the second part of our chapter number 7. The chapter is about funds analysis, cash flow analysis and financial planning. And after today's lecture you should be able to prepare a cash budget from forecasts of sales, receipts and disbursements and know why such a budget should be flexible. And you should be able to develop forecasted balance sheets and income statements, and also you should be able to understand the importance of using probabilistic information in forecasting financial statements and evaluating a firm's condition. So when you are going to forecast balance sheets and your income statements, before that you should know that how much, or you should be able to forecast how much cash is going to inflow and how much are the disbursements. तो उस हिसाब से आप अपनी जो कैश रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं उनको एडजस्ट करेंगे कि आपको कहीं बारो करना पड़ेगा या आपके पास फंड्स अवेलेबल होंगे and you can make more investments using those funds. Now first of all, cash flow forecasting. A cash budget is a forecast of a firm's future cash flows arising from collections and disbursements, usually on a monthly basis. जो cash flow forecasting है, it is either weekly, monthly, or 6 months, or quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, whatever suits to the firm. लेकिन normally it is a monthly basis. और हम जो अपनी आज के लेक्चर के अंदर जो कैलकुलेशंस देखेंगे that is also a monthly based forecast. And then the financial manager is better able to determine the future cash needs of the firm. जब हम cash forecast करेंगे, cash flow forecasting करेंगे, before that we make some estimates of our cash inflows and outflows, and based upon that information a financial manager should be better able to determine the future cash needs of the firm कि इस मंथ में कैश फ्लो किस तरह से चल रहा है और नेक्स्ट मंथ में कैश फ्लो की पोजीशन क्या होगी. अगर कैश ज़्यादा चाहिए, अगर कैश आउटफ्लो ज़्यादा हो रहा है नेक्स्ट मंथ में, तो अब कंपनी को अपने ऑपरेशन के लिए जो कैश रिक्वायर्ड होगा वो कहाँ से अरेंज करना है एंड how much is to be arranged. So these decisions, it is quite easier to take when the financial manager is able to do such kind of forecasting. And then the finance manager is better able to plan for the financing of these needs. जब requirement या need का पता होगा तो उसी हिसाब से finance manager भी equipped होंगे कि उसको कहाँ से और कैसे arrange करना है. And then the finance manager is better able to exercise control over cash and liquidity of the firm. जब cash position फ्यूचर हम फोरकास्ट करेंगे तो उसमें जो कमी बेशी जो उसमें साइकिल्स आएंगे तो उस हिसाब से कैश मैन जो फाइनेंस मैनेजर है वो अपने फर्म की लिक्विडिटी को बेटर वो मैनेज कर सकते हैं. सो देन वी मूव टू द नेक्स्ट part, it is the sales forecast. So sales forecast actually depends on the internal forecasts and external forecast. When we say internal forecast, so we are talking about the management of the firm, the sales representatives, what forecast they provide और उनमें वो क्या फिगर्स सजेस्ट करते हैं, क्या फोरकास्ट करते हैं, उनकी प्रोजेक्शंस क्या हैं कि नेक्स्ट मंथ में या आफ्टर 2 months या आफ्टर 3 months जो उनकी सेल्स फोरकास्ट कैसी होंगी. एंड इन दैट फॉर इंटरनल सेल्स फोरकास्ट द सेल्स रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स प्रोजेक्ट सेल्स फॉर द पीरियड इन क्वेश्चन. फॉर एग्जांपल एट दिस मोमेंट व्हेन अ सेल्स रिप्रेजेंटेटिव इज आस्क्ड व्हाट विल बी द सेल्स आफ्टर 1 month, तो सेल्स मैनेजर के पास जो पिछला रिकॉर्ड पड़ा होगा फॉर लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स या पिछले कुछ माह का, उसकी बेस पे द सेल्स मैनेजर इज एबल टू मेक अ फोरकास्ट फॉर दैट. लेकिन इट इज़ नॉट इनफ टू टेक द हिस्टोरिक डाटा ओनली टू मेक फोरकास्ट फॉर द कमिंग फ्यूचर मंथ्स. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कंपनी ने अपनी प्रोडक्ट्स को इम्प्रूव किया है यूजिंग सम लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजीज़, अगर हम आईटी सेक्टर में बात करें, कंप्यूटर इंडस्ट्री में बात करें, तो अगर कोई कंपनी अपने कंप्यूटर्स में कोई बेहतर उसको परफॉर्मेंस जो है उसको इम्प्रूव करने के लिए कोई लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी इंट्रोड्यूस करवाती है, उसकी बेस पे दे कैन एक्सपेक्ट अ बेटर सेल्स इन द फ्यूचर मंथ्स. एंड लाइकवाइज अगर आप पाकिस्तानी इन्वायरमेंट में देखें तो पानी जो हम आजकल ड्रिंक करते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल नेस्ले, खर्शी एंड अदर कंपनीज दे आर सेलिंग, सो दे कैन मेक अ फोरकास्ट बेस्ड ऑन द weather of the months also. For example, if we are going through the winter pattern, so winter season, so in that case monthly sales forecast will be quite lesser, and as we move towards the hotter weathers, so sales forecast जो है that can also increase accordingly. And then sales projections are screened and consolidated for product lines. जो sales projections sales managers देते हैं उनको टेस्ट किया जाता है and they are adjusted for different product lines. And then the product line sales projections are consolidated into a single forecast. जो different product lines का sales forecast हमें मिलेगी from different sales representatives, उसको हम कंबाइन करके कंपनी का एक सिंगल सेल्स फोरकास्ट जो है उसको डिटरमाइन करेंगे. एंड देन द अंडरलाइंग प्रॉब्लम इज अबाउट द ओवरलुकिंग ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंट ट्रेंड्स इन द इकोनॉमी एंड द इंडस्ट्री. नाउ द सिचुएशन इज कि जब सेल्स रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स सेल्स फोरकास्ट करेंगे व्हेन दे बेस्ड ऑन देयर एक्सपर्टीज और बेस्ड ऑन हिस्टोरिक डाटा, तो उसमें समटाइम्स दे गो एम्बिशियस एज वेल, वो उसको ज़्यादा भी लिख सकते हैं मोर देन the original estimates. So और उसको वो परसू भी कर सकते हैं. They may be very much hard working and they may be very much ambitious. लेकिन at the same time there are certain factors, what we call as external factors, कि इकोनॉमी की कंडीशन क्या है और इंडस्ट्री किस तरह से मूव कर रही है. अगर उस फर्म के जो कंपेटिटर हैं वो अग्रेसिव मार्केटिंग कर रहे हैं तो डेफिनेटली दे विल बी टेकिंग सम चंक ऑफ द मार्केट शेयर. तो in that case there can be an effect on the sales of the company. And likewise अगर इकोनॉमी जो है वो स्लो जा रही है, लोगों की परचेजिंग पावर अगर कम हो रही है, तो इसका भी इम्पैक्ट जो है वो सेल्स पे आएगा. तो जो एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स हैं इनको आमतौर पे जो इंटरनल सेल्स फोरकास्ट होती हैं उसमें निगलेक्ट कर दिया जाता है. एंड टू हैंडल दैट सिचुएशन द एक्सटर्नल सेल्स फोरकास्ट इज आल्सो वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट. सो in that case, the economists project overall economic and business trends that will affect the firm. जो इकोनॉमिक एक्सपीरियंस्ड होते हैं, जो इकोनॉमिस्ट होते हैं, उनकी जो राय है इन दैट केस दैट इज़ वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट कि इंडस्ट्री किस तरफ जा रही है, इंडस्ट्री का ट्रेंड क्या है और उसके अलावा इकोनॉमी का ट्रेंड क्या है. जैसा मैंने पहले डिस्कस किया कि अगर इकोनॉमी में इम्प्रूवमेंट आ रही है तो इट मीन्स कि सेल्स फोरकास्ट जो है इट कैन इवन इम्प्रूव दैन द कोटेड फिगर्स. और अगर इकोनॉमी जो है वो स्लगिश है, अगर वो स्लो हो रही है, तो इन दैट केस सेल्स विल बी स्लोअर. और इसी तरह से इंडस्ट्री में अगर इतना अट्रैक्शन है कि बहुत सारे कंपेटिटर उसके अंदर आ रहे हैं, तो इन दैट केस इवेंचुअली द सेल्स विल बी डिवाइडेड अमंग द डिफरेंट कंपेटिटर्स, तो सेल्स जो हैं वो स्लो डाउन हो सकती हैं। उसके अलावा इंडस्ट्री में जो डिफरेंट विद द इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज़ जो मुख्तलिफ कंपनीज को एक दूसरे पे एज मिल सकता है, उसका भी इम्पेक्ट ऑफ द सेल्स फोरकास्ट पे आता है, एंड दैट इज़ ऑल रिलेटेड टू द एक्सटर्नल फोरकास्ट। And then expected market share is projected for current and new product lines. तो जो expected market share है उस that is also very much important. इसकी एक एग्जांपल मैं आपको कोट करता हूँ कि हार्ले डेविडसन जो मोटर बाइक प्रोड्यूसर है, मैन्युफैक्चरर है इन अमेरिका, they were having a threat from Honda motorcycle. When the Honda motorcycle launched their products in USA, they were introducing very small bikes. तो हार्ले डेविडसन जो कि हैवी बाइक्स बना रहा था, तो उन्होंने उसको लाइट लिया, दे डिड नॉट टेक इट एज अ थ्रेट। तो उनकी जो सेल्स प्रोजेक्शंस थी दैट वाज अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर प्रीवियस रूटीन, उन्होंने उसको हाईली प्रोजेक्ट किया हुआ था। लेकिन जब होंडा ने सेल्स शुरू की तो बिकॉज ऑफ देयर कास्ट एफिशिएंट और न्यू डिज़ाइंस एंड स्मॉलर वर्जन, दे वर गेटिंग क्वाइट पॉपुलैरिटी, और उन्होंने मार्केट में काफ़ी सारा शेयर जो है वो उस इंडस्ट्री में से हासिल कर लिया। And then the Harley Davidson had to face lot of troubles. After that, the product line sales projections are consolidated into a single forecast. So just like internal sales forecast, external sales forecast for different product lines, it is also combined to get the single sales forecast. और जो firms जिस data पर rely करती हैं, जो forecast करती हैं, they merge both the forecast and they take the हाइब्रिड वर्जन ऑफ द टू, और उनको मिक्स करने के बाद दे टेक इंटरनल एंड एक्सटर्नल फोरकास्ट एंड देन दे प्रिपेयर देयर फाइनल सेल्स फोरकास्ट। And do remember that in our previous slides we are using the example of basket vendors. So keep in mind the balance sheets and the financial statements, I mean the income statements we are using for basket vendors for 2005, 6 and 2007. So in this case we are more concerned with the balance sheet given for the 2007, December 31st, 2007. So in the Lisa Miller finance manager has finalized a cash flow forecast for the first 6 months of 2008. Lisa is expecting 90% of monthly sales will be credit sales and 80% of credit sales collected in 30 days and then 20% in 60 days. So you see here, Lisa is expecting 90% of monthly sales will be credit sales. It means 10% of the sales, they are cash sales, and then 80% of the credit sales will be collected in 30 days. So you can see here, so 80% of the receivables will be collected in 30 days and the 20% in 60 days. And there are no bad debts. So you see here, the first 10% is a cash sale, then 90% of the remaining sales, they are collected in 2 months. 80% of the balance is collected in after 30 days and the remaining 20% balance is collected in 2 months, in 60 days. And we suppose here that there are no bad debts. And other cash flows, cash inflows and outflows like purchases, operating expenses, interest and dividends are reported in the calculations accordingly. Now in this situation we are going to make a cash flow forecast for Brackenwood BW, and here is the data based on our previous assumptions. There are sales, that is out of sale of $214 in November, there is 10% of it is cash sales and 90% of it is credit sales. So the accounts receivable is $193 in the month of November. So when we move towards December, so we have a total sales figure here about $236, out of which $24 sale is cash sale and $212, which is the 90% of the sales, it is credit sales. And accordingly, for each month, a credit sale and a cash sale, and then we get total sales figure. And then how do we receive the cash? So let's start from the month of January. It is 2008, because until now we have data about the BW's financial statements. It is until 2007 for the balance sheet and income statement. And for the month of January, if we look at this here, that we have a cash sales of $17 as it is mentioned here, and then we receive 80% of our receivables from our previous month's sale, which is $212. And then we have a 20% of receipt from our sales in the month of November. So you can see here there are 3 cash receipts out of sales, which is first of all 10% of cash sales, and then 80% is recovered from the previous month's sale, and then 20% is recovered from the sales that occurred 2 months ago. So the net cash inflow, it is $225 for BW in the month of January. And then accordingly in the month of February, there is a 10% of cash sales, and then 80% is recovered from the credit sales of January. You can see here 80% of $154, and then 20%, that is $42, we recover it from the sales of month of December. And then we have a total of cash inflows for the month of February. It is $180. And accordingly, you can see here for the month of March, you have figures for net sales, and then 10% as a cash sale and 90% as credit sale. And we have the cash of $28, 80% is recovered from the previous month's sale, and the 20% remaining balance of the 2 months ago, the sale that took place in January, it is recovered in March, it is $31. So the net cash flow in the month of March, it is $167. So you can see here accordingly for the month of April, net cash inflow is $255, and then for May it is $233, and then in the month of June it is $190. So do keep in mind, for such type of problems, the pattern of cash receipts will be reported in the given problems. So accordingly, you just write down the months over it, and then the sales, how much was the total sale, and out of that total sale, how much is credit sale and how much is cash sale. And then you add the cash sales with the cash receipts from the previous months. So then you can get the net cash flow for that particular month. Now we will discuss the disbursements. We will talk about the payments. So this is a company policy that 100% of the purchases are on credit, and it is for 30 days. 1 month's credit will be paid fully after 30 days. Okay. So you see here the purchases made in December, which is $39. It will be paid in the month of January, the whole amount $39, and the purchases of $35 in the month of January, that cash will outflow from the company in the month of February, and the wages will be paid on monthly basis, and other expenses, they are also paid accordingly. And then we have this operating expenses. So you can add here all the selling, general and administrative expenses as well. So as we move towards the next month, you can see here for the month of March, the purchases for the March are paid in April, and purchases of April, they are paid in May, and purchases of May, they are paid in June, and the purchases of June, that is $50, they will make our accounts payable. It is our current liability. And then what we pay for other expenses, it is the wages for each month, the amount is different. And then other expenses, we assume they are all fixed for all the given months, so for all given 6 months. So here you can see the total cash outflow that is happening from January to June. It is like this. Now we can get the net cash inflow or outflow because we have determined out of our sales कि हमने सेल्स में से कितना कैश वसूल किया और हम अपने रिसीवेबल में से कितना कैश वसूल किया. एंड ऑन द अदर हैंड हमने अपने जो परचेजेस हैं उनके अगेंस्ट कितना कैश पे किया और जो हमारे पेएबल्स थे उनके अगेंस्ट कितना कैश पे किया. उसके अलावा हमारे जो डिफरेंट ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंसेस थे, हाउ मच डिड वी पे, एंड फाइनली टोटल कैश outflow we also got the figure. And now we can get the net figure by deducting the cash from the cash inflows, the cash outflows, and we see what is the position of the cash. Now you see here for the month of January the total disbursement is here, and for February, and this is for March, and other expenses, the capital expenditures where the firm spends to purchase some assets, for example some fixed assets, it is $70. In fact all these figures they are in thousands, so we skip the thousand word here, so we call it $70. And then in February the capital expenditure is $40, and in March there is no expenditure. And dividend payments, there is no dividend payment in January, February, and there is a dividend payment of $9 in the month of March. And income tax is paid in January of $25, and no tax is reported here in the month of February and March. So you can get the total cash disbursements from the previous slides, and then you can add the capital expenditures, the dividends and taxes. So you can add all the inflows and outflows, and then you can get the final disbursement figures. And accordingly for the month of April we have this figure of total disbursement. Now we are better able to get the final cash inflows and outflows. So just to remind you the balance sheet what we are talking about here, it is the balance sheet you have seen in our previous lectures. It is a balance sheet of December 2007 for Basket Wonders company. Okay, now here you can see the position of different heads in the asset side, that is cash and accounts receivable, inventories and prepaid expenses, accumulated tax payments, and accordingly there are different figures given here. And on the liability side we have notes payable, we have accounts payable, we have accrued taxes, and all the figures they are quoted here. Now what is the net cash flow for BW? For the Basket Woods, what is the net cash inflow or outflow? So you can see here we started with the opening balance of cash. The ending balance which was given in 2007, in 2008 that cash balance will become the opening cash balance. So you can see here the $90 is the opening cash balance for year 2008, and total cash receipts that we discussed in the case of sales, that is 10% of sales they were on cash sales, and 80% they were recovered from the previous balances of the last month, and 20% was recovered from the 2 months old sales. So then we have the total cash receipts equal to $225, and total cash disbursements in our previous slides we also calculated them, and when we add them up we get a figure. From here we get a figure of $33 of outflow, and when we add it up with our opening balance, so we get $57 of cash balance at the end of January. So on January 31st the cash position of the company is $57. and this is the opening balance in the month of February, and accordingly the receipts, cash receipts including cash sales and recoveries from accounts receivables and cash disbursements, and the position of these two transactions is that cash outflow of $23 is there. So when we add this figure with our opening cash balance, we have a net cash figure of $34, and this is the opening balance for the next month, that is March. So in March, this is our cash receipts and this is cash disbursements, and the total cash outflow is $51, whereas we had an opening cash balance of $34, so there is a lack of negative balance of $17 in the accounts. And for the next 3 months up till June, you can see here the beginning cash balance, then the cash receipts, cash disbursements, the net effect of cash receipts and disbursements. So when it is added up with the opening balance, you get a net cash balance of $19, and this makes the beginning cash balance of the month of May, and accordingly we get the final balance of month of May, which makes the beginning cash balance of June, and through our cash receipts and disbursements, and finally we get a net cash balance of $92. So you see here, for a period of 6 months, the cash position of the company, it started from $90 and it ended up on $92. And now the range of cash flow estimates. अब जो हमने इसमें मुख्तलिफ महीनों के लिए फॉर डिफरेंट मंथ्स जो कैश बैलेंसेस हमने फाइंड आउट किए थे, अब हमारे जो उस नेक्स्ट मंथ का जो कैश रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, दैट इज़ टोटली डिपेंडेंट ऑन द कैश अवेलेबल. फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ महीनों में हमारे पास नेगेटिव कैश बैलेंस था. अब जब उसको हम नेक्स्ट मंथ में हमारी जो कैश रिक्वायरमेंट्स होंगी उसके लिए हमें बारो करना पड़ेगा. तो एक फाइनेंस मैनेजर को बेस्ड अपॉन दीज फोरकास्ट कि आज ऑन द फॉर एग्जांपल इन द केस ऑफ दिस एग्जांपल ऑन 1st January और ऑन 31st December 2007, अगर कोई फाइनेंस मैनेजर फॉर द नेक्स्ट 6 months अगर सेल्स प्रोजेक्शन या कैश प्रोजेक्शंस करता है इनफ्लोज एंड आउटफ्लो की बेसिस पे, देन द मैनेजर हैज़ दीज फिगर्स एट द एंड ऑफ ईच मंथ. और कंपनी के ऑपरेशंस के लिए फॉर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फर्म और एनी ट्रेड फर्म, उनको अपने ऑपरेशंस के लिए जितना कैश रिक्वायर्ड है उसको किस तरह से अरेंज करना है, देन द फाइनेंस मैनेजर इज बेटर एबल टू अरेंज दैट. नाउ द रेंज ऑफ कैश फ्लो एस्टिमेट्स. सो दीज आर ऑल द एस्टिमेट्स. अब हम इसको कैसे रेंज कर सकते हैं कि जो गिवन फिगर्स हैं वो किस तरह से फ्लक्चुएट कर सकते हैं फ्रॉम अ मिनिमम टू अ मैक्सिमम अमाउंट. Now we'll examine factors that may influence cash receipts, such as changes in the state of economy that influence consumer buying decisions and pricing strategies. जो economic conditions होंगी that will also have an impact, और उनको भी projections में हमने accommodate करना है. For example, in the month of January and month of February, जब मौसम काफ़ी ठंडा है, in that case the demand for heaters is higher. So definitely the sales managers जो हैं, sales representatives जो हैं, वो उसको अपने forecast में ऐड करेंगे. लेकिन at the same time economic condition या दूसरी साइड पे जो सप्लाई कंडीशन है फ्यूल की या एनर्जी साइड पे अगर आप देखें, there is shortage of fuel. If we talk of gas heaters, तो there is shortage of gas. तो in that case अगर consumers उसको हीटर को यूटिलाइज ही नहीं कर पाएंगे, तो there will be a thinking among the consumers कि then why to spend on these heaters. तो in that case sales will be definitely not up to that projections कि सर्दी में हीटर्स की सेल ज़्यादा होनी चाहिए. लेकिन अगर गैस ही अवेलेबल नहीं होगी तो हीटर्स की सेल जो है वो डेफिनेटली अफेक्ट होगी. तो all these conditions they are the external factors. तो सेल्स फोरकास्ट में इनको भी मर्ज करना होगा अपनी कैलकुलेशन में या फोरकास्ट में. एंड देन एग्जामिन फैक्टर्स दैट मे इन्फ्लुएंस कैश डिसबर्समेंट्स सच एज चेंजेस इन द स्टेट ऑफ द इकोनॉमी दैट इम्पैक्ट ऑपरेशंस, कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर्स एंड डिविडेंड पेमेंट्स. जो इकोनॉमी की में चेंज आती है, फॉर एग्जांपल विद द चेंज ऑफ डिफरेंट वेरिएबल्स, लेट्स सपोज इंटरेस्ट रेट जो है इकोनॉमी में अगर उसको कम कर दिया जाए तो इट मीन्स कि जो लोगों का परचेजिंग पावर है दैट विल इंक्रीज. सो इन दैट केस द प्राइसेस माइट फ्लक्चुएट टुवर्ड्स द हायर साइड and also the demand will increase for different products. So all these variables and all these indicators, they make the external side of the forecast, so they should be accommodated while making the forecast. और इसकी बेस पे हम probability एक assume कर सकते हैं कि there is such and such percentage of probability कि sales जो है वो increase करेंगी या sales जो है वो decrease करेंगी. अगर इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन बेहतरी की तरफ जा रही होगी तो सेल जो है वो एट मैक्स यहाँ तक जा रही कैन टू दिस लेवल दे कैन इंक्रीज. और अगर इकोनॉमिक कंडीशंस दे डिटीरियोरेट तो मिनिमम सेल जो है वो कहाँ तक होंगी. सो दैट मिनिमम एंड मैक्सिमम आवर प्रोजेक्शन शुड बी इन बिटवीन दैट. इन आवर सिचुएशन व्हाट वी डिटरमाइंड एज आवर फर्स्ट जनवरी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, इट इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ अकरेंसेस. You can see here on this side along the y-axis and along the x-axis ending cash balance. So ending cash balance जो हमने determine किया था for the month of January, it is $57. So there is a probability, very high probability कि हमारी जो projections हैं they are okay, we calculated them right. But in the worst case scenario, if the external factors they affect the sales, so in the worst case it can go to $37. So the ending cash balance, they can reach a minimum of $37 at the end of January. And then if the sales they are very good, although the probability is not that high, so but the maximum range is $77. So we fix here between plus $20 and minus $20 as far as the month of January is concerned. So accordingly for different months, now let's look at the February distribution, that what is the probability of occurrence for the estimate we made and what can be the worst case scenario and what can be the best case scenario. So in case of our calculations, the ending cash balance for the month of February, it is $34. And if the things they go wrong, the sales they are not as we projected, so the minimum cash balance that can be possible is $14, and accordingly the maximum cash balance is $54. So based on uncertainty, the probabilities they can be assigned for different values of the cash balances. So in the best case scenario, what we have calculated, it is based on the best assumptions that we can get from the internal and external sources. But we should cater for the worst and the best case scenarios as well. And now we summarize the range of cash flow estimates. It allows examination of the relevant factors which may generate uncertainty regarding future cash flows, and it enables management to better plan for contingencies that will arise than using a single point estimate of monthly cash flows. So as we discussed before, कि जब finance manager को पता होगा कि the cash position of the firm can range from the minimum of such amount to a maximum of such amount, so in that case the contingency planning can be done. कि अगर वर्स्ट केस सिनारियो है तो अपने फाइनेंसेस को कहाँ से पूरा करना है, हमें जो कैश फ्लोज रिक्वायर्ड होंगे, हमें अपनी कैश पोजीशन को मेंटेन करने के लिए हमने फाइनेंसेस कहाँ से लेने हैं. सो ऑल दीज डिसीजंस दे विल बिकम ईजियर if there are some forecast regarding the cash positions of the company. And then we come to the next important topic, it is forecasting financial statements. So we are going to forecast the balance sheet and income statement. So the expected future financial statements based on conditions that management expects to exist and actions it expects to take. So here our objective is to make a forecasted balance sheet and forecasted income statement. So in case of the company we are discussing in all through our different lectures, it is Baskett Woods. So we are forecasting Basketwood's income statement given the assumptions in this statement. Here you can see the finance manager Lisa Miller is forecasting the income statement for 2008. She estimates that sales for the 6 months ended June 30th. That is, हम अब next जो 6 month हैं उनके लिए एक forecasted financial statement, income statement बनाएंगे. She estimates that sales for the 6 months ended June 30th will be 1.222 million. And then cost of goods are estimated from the average of years 2005 to 2007. इससे पहले हमने जो इसकी बैलेंस शीट्स 2005 और 2007 में देखी हैं, हमने उसको अपने रेशियोज एनालिसिस वाले चैप्टर में देखा था कि फ्रॉम 2005, 6 एंड 7 कास्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड जो हैं वो कैसे वेरी कर रही हैं. उनकी एवरेज है कास्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड डिवाइडेड बाय सेल्स. ये रेशियो जो है हमने लेनी है और हमने इसका एवरेज लेना है फ्रॉम 2005 टू 2007, 3 years का. And selling, general and administrative costs are forecasted at $34,000 and it is per month figure, and while the income tax rate is assumed equal to 40%. So the taxable income will be taxed at the 40% rate. Cash dividends are assumed to be $38,000 and interest expenses are expected to remain constant. हमने उसमें जो yearly interest find out किया था interest expense, now we will calculate for the next 6 months and we take that as a constant. There is no change. So just to remind you what was, our forecasted income statement will take this shape. You can see here, as was given in the previous statement, the net sales are forecasted to be $1,222. These figures are all in thousands. So, and then the cost of goods sold, we have to determine it. And how do we determine it? Let me take you to the slide. It is here. You can see cost of goods sold for the year 2005 and 2006, and here it is for 2007, and these are the ratios for the respective years. So what we are going to take is average of these three. So we will calculate the average of these three figures to determine the cost of goods sold in our forecasted income statement. So we determine the amount of $865 as the cost of goods sold, and in fact we calculated it by dividing the sum of all those three ratios with 3. तो हमने कास्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड की जो 3 साल की रेशियो थी उसका एवरेज लेके उसको अपनी सेल्स के साथ मल्टीप्लाई किया, एंड देन वी गॉट कास्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड फिगर, एंड देन वी गॉट द फिगर ऑफ ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट. आवर फोरकास्टेड ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट इज $357, and our selling, general and administrative expenses, they are $204. It is given that per month it is $34,000. So for the 6 months they will become $204,000, and then we get earnings before interest and tax. Out of this earnings, now we are supposed to pay our taxes. और हमें पिछली स्टेटमेंट में ये assume किया हुआ है कि the interest remains constant. So let's see what is interest in our balance sheet. For the year 2007, interest expense given, it is $59,000, and we reduce it to half for the 6 months. This is annual interest expense. जब हम 6 महीने के लिए इसको forecast करेंगे तो we'll make half of it. So we get a figure of 29. We round off the figures and we get an interest expense of $29,000. And now this makes our earnings before tax. अब इस अर्निंग के ऊपर हमने 40% टैक्स पे करना है, and that is equal to $50,000. So we get earnings after tax which is equal to $74,000. And the cash dividend जो हमने पिछली स्लाइड में हमने रिपोर्ट किया हुआ है, it is $38,000 for the year now we pay for the 6 months, it would mean कि हम उसको will divide it with 2. हम will get it for the 6 months, and we multiply it with 0.5 to get it for the half year, and we have this figure of cash dividends, $19, and we get an increase in the retained earning. It is $55. So you see here, this is the net earnings, and out of that we are supposed to pay to the common stockholders, which we don't pay. We pay only $19. The remaining will be added to the retained earnings. So $55,000 will go to the retained earnings section. And now let's come to the cash balance sheet side. So as you know कि हमने अपने जो कैश पोजीशन फाइंड आउट की थी अपनी कैश रिसीट्स एंड डिसबर्समेंट्स की बेसिस पे फॉर द 6 मंथ्स, एट द एंड ऑफ द जून हमारे पास जो कैश बैलेंस में बचा था दैट वाज $92, एंड देन अकाउंट्स रिसीवेबल इट इज $222, and account receivable for this figure, they are in fact the June 100% of June. We assume that कि जून की सारी सेल्स जो हैं that is on the credit sales, and then 20% of May, the previous month, that is also a credit sale because 80% of that is recovered. So we get a figure of $222, which is our accounts receivable. And then the inventory, which is $692. How do we calculate it? Our inventory turnover is 2.5 per year. So you can see here the inventory given in the balance sheet of 2007. It was let me go back to that figure. You can see here the inventories figure is quoted as $696. So, and the inventory turnover ratio जिसको हमने पिछली calculation में देखा था, that may be any figure, but here we take the inventory turnover ratio as 2.5 per year. So अगर inventory turnover is 2.5 per year, तो 6 months के लिए कितना होगा? It will be half, 1.25 for the 6 months. So in that case, if we multiply the inventory figure of 696, we multiply it with we have to divide it because we are going to determine the inventory for at the end of June. We divide it with 1.25 and we get a figure equal to 692. And then prepaid expenses, they are 5, it remained the same. Accumulated tax payment, it is 10, and this is our current asset. So here we made some assumptions that capital expenditure of $110, we increased our assets by $110 in our previous balance of fixed assets, and then the depreciation of $69,000 is also added into the accumulated depreciation. So if you go back to the balance sheet of 2007, you can see an increment of 110 and an increment of 69 here in these figures, so that with the net fixed assets we get equal to $742, and the investment in long-term securities, it is $50, it is the same thing, and other assets it is 223, so that we get a total assets equal to $2,036. And now let's look at the liability side. We have notes payable here 226, and do remember, do keep in mind that most of the figures we have assumed here. And then we have accounts payable, which is 100% of June purchases, as we have assumed in our previous calculations that we pay after 30 days. So in our accounts payable, the balance for the accounts payable is the purchases of the last month. It is the 100% amount of that, and then accrued taxes, other accrued liabilities, current liabilities, most of the figures we are taking constant from the previous balance sheet, and the figures we are changing here, they are about the receivables and payables. And the long-term debt, it is the same amount, and common stock again the same, additional paid-in capital is same, and here you can see the balance of retained earning has increased by $55. जब हमने अपनी forecasted income statement में retained earning के लिए जो balance spare किया था, that was $55. So that is added into the balance of retained earnings. Now it is total of $265 as a retained earning. So this makes the total equity $1,194. And now the total liabilities, they become equal to this amount. And this was, most of these things, the information was assumed here. और अभी हम जो next part में करने जा रहे हैं, that is based upon the exercise जो वैन हॉर्न की बुक है, फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट, फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट. अगर आप उसके अपेंडिक्स में जाएं तो यू विल फाइंड सम प्रॉब्लम्स. सो आई जस्ट टुक स्नैप्स ऑफ दोज प्रॉब्लम्स and solutions are also given there. So not only to discuss with you how the calculations they are occurring at different positions, we will go through two problems here. So let's see what is the problem here. The company is Dana Stallings had the following financial statement for the year 2000, suppose it is 11 and 2012. And we have to prepare a sources and uses of fund statement and evaluate the findings. So here you can see the assets, the marketable securities, accounts receivables, and inventories, and what is the next year position for all these heads. It is given in a comparison for the 2 years. Now you can see what we have to make is यूजेज एंड सोर्सेज स्टेटमेंट, जिसको हमने पिछले लेक्चर में डिस्कस किया था. इसकी एक हम प्रैक्टिस देखेंगे. और इसी तरह से लायबिलिटीज आर गिवन फॉर 2011 एंड 2012. और हमने एक उसके लिए एक छोटा सा रूल या आप कह लें कि फार्मूला था, USAL. इट वाज समथिंग लाइक हियर दैट यूजेज sources, and here were assets and here were the liabilities. So we made a matrix here and we discussed for different possibilities. So when there is a decrease in the asset, it means funds they are made available, so it is a source. And when there is an increase in the asset, it means funds are used and it is a use of the funds. And likewise, when we increase our liabilities, it means we are getting some inflows, we are getting some funds. So when we are paying out our liabilities, that is our liabilities are reducing, it means it is a use of those funds. So based upon that rule, we'll look at these figures and we find out what is happening here. So first of all, we are going to prepare the sources and uses fund. So you can see here the asset has reduced from $53,000 to $31,000. It means in this case it is a source, so we put S here. And then marketable securities with a balance of $87,000, they have reduced to 0. Again it is a source. And accounts receivable, the position is that accounts receivable, they have increased. It means the asset has increased, so it is a use. And then inventories, they also have increased. It means the asset has increased, so this is a use of funds. And then this is the overall position of the current assets. And then net fixed assets. What happened to this balance? Net fixed assets, they have also increased. It means there is a use of funds. And then these are the total positions of the balance sheet. And on the liability side, if you look here at the accounts payable, they are $413,000 and they have increased to $627,000. So increase in liability means a source of fund. And then accrued expenses, they have also increased. they will also make a source of funds. And bank borrowing. Bank borrowing has also increased. That is also a liability increased. It means it is again a source. So this is the overall position of the current liabilities. And then common stock, it remains the same. And retained earnings, they have also increased from 1.192 million to 1.364 million. So again, this is a source. So you see here we have a list of sources and uses, and we just need to list them down in a statement form, and that will make our uses and sources statement. So let's look at the first part, what we did. So you can see here the net profit, it is $172. So why we take $172 as a net profit? Because the difference between retained earnings side here is $172,000, and here we have assumed that all the income is there is no dividend has been paid. So you see here, note for year 2012 depreciation was $189,000, whereas interest paid was $21,000, and taxes paid amounted to $114,000, and no dividends were paid. It means all the income is added to the retained earnings income. So you see here the retained earning difference is $172,000, which is our net income in fact. So we start like that. We have and again let me take you back. The depreciation which we deduct from our cash inflows, in fact this is a non-cash item जो हम उसको अपने cash flow से deduct करते हैं. But when we are going to calculate the cash flows, so we have to add it back, क्योंकि इसका कोई cash पे impact नहीं है. लेकिन अगर हम इसको add back नहीं करते तो we are actually undercoating our cash position. So we have to add it back. So you see here the net profit $172, which is a source, and depreciation which we deducted from our cash inflows, it is again a source. And then all sources and uses that we identified in our previous slides. So these are the differences as source between the two figures of the balance sheets, and we add them up to make an amount of $907. So you can note here that these are the adjustments we discussed in our last lecture. So we also quoted them here. So this is adjusted risk sources and uses fund statement. And then the uses are, there was an increment in the fixed assets. You can take the difference of the 2 years balance and you get a difference of $474,000, which is a use. And then increase in accounts receivable, it is again a use. And then increase in the inventories, it is again a use. So we get an amount of $907. So this is in fact the uses, sources and uses of fund statement. And what else is required here, that we calculated for the cash flow statement under different activities. That is, we discussed for the operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. So what comes under the operating activities, we start with the net income, that is $172, and we add back the depreciation, and then we look at the operations, that is the operating activities as far as the current and liabilities and assets they are concerned. And we see here an increase in payables, and we take all these figures from those uses, sources and uses statement. And then you can see this, and we just categorize those figures under the operating, financing and investing activities. So under the operating activities, we list them down here and we get an amount of $230. एंड देन वी कम टूवर्ड्स आवर इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज़। इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज़ में हमने एसेट परचेज़ किया था, और इसके अलावा अगर हमने सिक्योरिटीज़ में कहीं लॉन्ग टर्म सिक्योरिटीज़ में इन्वेस्ट किया था, उसके अंदर जो डिफरेंस था दैट इज़ आवर इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटीज़। So you see here there was an outflow of $474,000, and again there was a change in marketable securities which we sold, and we received an inflow of $87,000, and we have this figure of $387 from our investing activities. It is an outflow. And then we come towards the cash flow from our financing activities. So in our financing activities, how much did we borrow? So we borrowed from the bank an amount of $135, and that's all. There was no other financing activity. And then we have from all three figures, this is the financing activity, this is the investing activity, and this is the cash flow from operating activities. We add them together, and we have a final cash flow of $22. That is $22,000 an outflow. And now we have the opening cash balance, which is $53,000, and we get the next year's cash balance, which is $31,000. You can see here the cash balance of 2011, which is $53,000, and when we add the net cash outflow for the period of $22,000, actually it is an outflow, so that it will be deducted from this figure, so we get a cash balance of $31,000. So this is again a check कि हमने सारी calculations जो हैं उसको ठीक परफॉर्म किया है. So this is only an observation here, but आपने क्या करना है कि आपको जो activities या assignments दी जाएंगी उसके अंदर छोटी छोटी calculations you will be given, और आपने उसकी बेस पे प्रैक्टिस करनी है, and then you will be able to solve the bigger problems. And the next problem is about the preparing of forecasted balance sheets and the income statement. So here it is a little bit technical here. You need to be present in the class more than in the slides before. So you can see here the balance sheet of the AMRM company on December 31st, and all the figures, they are quoted in thousands, and we have these positions of cash, accounts receivable, inventories, and this makes our current assets, and we have net fixed assets, and these are our total assets. And on the liability side you can see these figures, and it is made up of accounts payable, accrued expenses, bank loans, and it makes the current liability, then long-term debt, common stock, and retained earnings. And what is required here and what information is available here, you can see the company has received a large order and anticipate the need to go to its bank to increase its borrowing. As a result, it needs to forecast its cash requirements for January, February, and March. नेक्स्ट 3 महीने के लिए कंपनी ने अपना कैश जो फोरकास्ट है कैश रिक्वायरमेंट की उसको प्रिपेयर करना है. एंड देन टिपिकली द कंपनी कलेक्ट्स, नाउ द कैश पैटर्न, हाउ द कंपनी कलेक्ट्स its receivables. The 20% of sales in the month of sale, that is 20% of the sales, they are cash sales, and then 70% of the sales it is received in the subsequent month. For example, if there is a sale in the month of December, the 70% of the balance will be recovered in month of January, and the remaining 10% of the sales will be recovered in 60 days, that is in 2 months. And all sales, they are credit sales. And then purchases of raw materials. Now the final wording, it is all sales are credit sales. At the time of sale, all sales, they are credit sales, but the 20% of the sales is recovered in the same month. And then purchases of raw materials to produce malt. Malt is actually the product company is producing, are made in the month prior to the sales and amount to 60% of the sale in the subsequent month. व्हाट डज इट मीन? इसका मतलब ये है कि जो फॉर एग्जांपल इफ वी आर इन द मंथ ऑफ दिसंबर, तो दिसंबर की जो रॉ मटेरियल्स का बैलेंस होगा दैट विल बी द 60% ऑफ जनवरी सेल. Okay, the purchases we make for the raw material in December, the balance will be equal to 60% of the sales of the next month, and payments for these purchases occur in the month after the purchase. Yani after 30 days company makes payment for all its purchases. And then labor cost including overtime are expected to be $150,000 in January, $200,000 in February, $160,000 in March. So for these 3 months, the labor cost including overtime is given here. Selling, administrative, tax and other cash expenses are expected to be $100,000 per month for January through March. So the selling, administrative, taxes and other cash expenses, they will remain the same, that is $100,000 in January, February and March. It means a total of $300,000 in a period of 3 months. And then actual sales in November and December and projected sales for January through April are as follows. So you can see here we have a balance sheet up till this period, that is December 31st, but to project our future forecasts, we are given with the sales figures of November, December, January, February, March and April. अब अप्रैल की फिगर क्यों दी गई है? डू कीप इन माइंड कि हमारे पास जो परचेजेस का बैलेंस आएगा एट द एंड ऑफ मार्च, वो 60% ऑफ द सेल्स ऑफ नेक्स्ट मंथ होगा. दैट्स व्हाई वी नीड द नेक्स्ट मंथ्स फिगर, दैट इज अप्रैल्स सेल्स. And then on the basis of this information, we have to prepare a cash budget for the month of January, February and March, and then determine the amount of additional bank borrowing necessary to maintain a cash balance of $50,000 all the time. अब कंपनी के पास जो मिनिमम कैश बैलेंस कंपनी ने मेंटेन करना है फॉर एवरी मंथ, इट इज $50,000, और देन ignore interest on such borrowings. For the simplicity of the calculations, हम इस पे interest को ignore करते हैं. And also something is missing there, that we have to prepare the projected balance sheet and income statement. So now let's come towards the solution. First of all, what is the position of our cash budget? What are the forecasts for the next months we are talking about? So here you can see in the month of November, the December, January, February and March sales, they are given in our problem. And then what is the pattern of receipts? In the month of January, we receive 20% of the sales in the same month. That is 20% of $600,000. It will make $120,000. और उसके अलावा 70% of the sales of the previous month, that is 70% of the sales in December, and then 10% of our 2 months old sales, that is 20% in the same month, 70% in the previous month and 10% from the 2 months ago. So we have a total cash receipt in the month of January equal to $590, and accordingly for the month of February the sale is this, 20% is here, then 70% from the previous month's sale, and then 10% from the sale for 2 months ago. And accordingly in the month of March we have a sale of $650, 20% in the same month, 700 from the, as a 70% of the previous month's sale, and 10% from the 2 months ago we had the sale. And these are our total cash receipts or cash inflows in the month of January, February and March. And how about the purchases? That now we bring the purchases here because we have the sales figure here, and we know that कि हमारी जो next month की sale है उसका 60% is our present month purchase of raw material. So you see here for the month of March, what is the purchases of raw materials? It is $450, and how it makes? It is 60% of the next month's sale, and accordingly this figure is calculated as a 60% of the next month's sale, and then in the month of January the purchases of $600 is the 60% of the sales in month of February, and this figure of the $360 is 60% of the sales in the month of January. So you can see here our cash disbursements will be determined based upon this information we calculated as purchases and other expenses. So out of our purchases हमने जो cash payment करते हैं, that is after 30 days. So you see here the payment of $360 is due in the month of January, that is 100% of the last month's sale, last month's purchase. उसके बाद हमारी labor cost जो हमें problem में given है, that is $150,000, and other expenses $100,000 each for month of January, February and March. So we get a total cash disbursement equal to $610. And what is the position here? Cash receipts, final cash position. It is at the end of January we have a cash receipt of $590 and cash disbursement of $610, and then we are in a negative position, that is a cash outflow of $20,000 occurred in month of January, and accordingly we calculate for the month of February a cash outflow is $220,000, and in the month of March the things improved, the sales improved and receipts of cash improved, and we have a cash inflow of $240,000. And now keep in mind कि हमने अपनी cash position जो है cash in the balance sheet उसको we will not let it go below $50,000, and we see here the beginning bank borrowing. हमारे पास जो बैंक जो गिवन बैलेंस है बैलेंस शीट में, दैट इज कैश बैलेंस इक्वल टू $50,000. हमने इस फिगर को मेंटेन रखना है, एंड व्हाट एवर आवर कैश रिक्वायरमेंट हैपन्स हमने इसको अपने बैंक से बोरो करके पूरा करना है. नाउ लेट्स सी हियर कि हमारे पास ये जो कैश पोजीशन आई है, मंथ ऑफ जनवरी वी हैव टू बोरो एन अमाउंट ऑफ $20,000 फ्रॉम द बैंक, एंड इन दिस केस एन अमाउंट ऑफ $220,000, and in this case we are able to pay it back. So you see here the bank borrowing position in our balance sheet. We have a balance of $400 at the end of December, and this is the beginning bank borrowing balance in the month of January. So what we borrow, the same as that of our cash outflow. हमने $20,000 का जो कैश आउटफ्लो है उसको पूरा करना है बैंक बोरोइंग से. सो देन आवर बोरोइंग बैंक फाइनल ending borrowing position becomes $420 at the end of January, which makes the beginning balance at the start of February, and in the February we borrowed another $220 and we made it to $640, and then accordingly in the month of March we had this position that from our starting balance we paid out the total inflow of $240, so that our ending bank borrowing balance becomes the same. We started with $400 and we ended up with $400 after 3 months. So then the explanation you can read out from here, as we are short of time. We come to the next position here, that what is our projected in financial statement here. So in case of balance sheet, you can see here the cash position in the beginning, that is at the end of 12th month on 31st of December, we have a cash balance of $50,000, and we as far as requirements in the problem, we have to maintain it to $50. Okay, so we can make a forecast that it will remain the same. And on the other hand, our receivables balance was $530, but in case of our sales at the end of 31st of at the end of March, that we have 80% March sales plus 10% of February sales, which is still outstanding. So that balance makes it to $620. So there is an increase of $90 here. And then the inventory, what happened to the inventory? You can calculate it. The given balance is 545, the opening balance. And then we make purchases through the month of January, February, and March. And we add up all those. That makes 1985, and we minus out 60% of it. इसमें से हमने 60% बैलेंस जो है उसको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में यूज़ किया है. दैट इज़ नॉट और 60% ऑफ दिस बैलेंस, नॉट 60% ऑफ 1985, बट द 60% ऑफ आवर सेल्स. So that the sales for 3 months is 2250. So when you calculate it, you will get our inventory balance equal to 635. So you can calculate it by yourself. That start with the inventory balance plus the 6 purchases from January through March, and what balance of inventories is used in these 3 months. That is 60% of the sales. So you deduct it from the inventory balance, you will end up with this balance here. So and then the current assets, you see here an increment of $180, and the net fixed asset, there is, because the depreciation is $24,000 per period for the 3 months. इसको problem में शायद ये skip हो गया था. Then the balance of net fixed asset is here. Now we come to the liability side. Our borrowings, we started with some cash inflows and outflows, but finally our borrowings remained the same. And then accounts payable, 100% of our March purchases. At the end of March, whatever our accounts payable is, the purchases we made, that is the 30 days margin we have of every purchase. So that 30 days before our purchase is our accounts payable. And then accrued expenses, there is no change expected here. And then we come towards the long-term debt, it remained the same. Common stock remained the same, and retained earnings. So retained earnings, you see here a figure of $66. So how do we get it? We have a net income, and then we deduct all the expenses out of it, so that we get the final figure of our retained earnings, and it makes it to $66. So you can calculate it by using the sales, and then deduct it from it the 60% of the inventories, and then deduct from it the inventories purchased, labor cost, other expenses, depreciation, and you will get a figure of $66. So that a net increase in the shareholders' equity is $156. So this is the balancing figure here. So in this lecture, we discussed the sales forecast, the cash forecast, the balance sheet, and financial statement forecast. So summary of today's lecture is that we prepared a cash budget for from forecasts of sales, receipts, and disbursements, and know why such a budget should be flexible, because the internal and external environment, we have to find compatibility between them. उसके अलावा we developed forecasted balance sheet and income statement, and also we had the understanding of the importance of using probabilistic information in forecasting financial statements and evaluating a firm's condition. Thank you very much, and hope to see you in the next lecture.